What's going on, guys? So today we're not going to be reviewing anything. In fact, we're going to be doing an announcement video that a lot of you have been waiting for, and it is the announcement for the new Shoki charity build contest for 2020. And as you can see up here in this logo that is right up here, it's going to be called the MS 100. And we'll get into the details about that. And by we, I mean me and this guy.
Everybody.
So if you've been around long enough, you've seen Nate over here pop onto my channel a couple times, here and there for a live or a nerd cast, one-on-one, and a couple other times where he just came on to talk. And I've been on your channel as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Speaking of which, go ahead and do any plugs you need to right now.
So, if you haven't seen, my channel is just Nathan Simmons out there on YouTube. Of course, I do toy hunts. I do you name it out there. Don't do reviews because I'm not good at it. I leave it to the professionals. I mean, I might do one or two here and there, occasionally, but nothing consecutively. But yeah, just glad to be here.
Yep. And do you want to plug your new store by chance?
Yes, I can. So if you guys don't know, I have opened up my new store. It's called Nate's Toys and Collectibles, out on Facebook. So you'll start seeing that link in my description of any new video out there. So I do a little bit of everything, whether it be Sideshow, Hot Toys, the Flame Toys, 3A, 30, Transformers, Storm, Big Warts, you name it. I try to get it, or at least something that's new, to help out with people. But you're also going to see old stuff on there too. So you're going to see stuff that comes out there, that's hasn't been around in a long time. So I'm not going to say vintage, but I'm going to say older, because vintage is a different, whole gambit of information that people think that 70s, 80s is vintage, 90s is not. But anything in my realm that's over 20 years old is almost vintage now. You can't go to the
Yep.
store and buy it. You have to go to a con, you have to go to eBay and buy it. So you might see stuff like that on my store. And I do payment plans for all new pre-orders as well. So to help out everybody, because I know pre-orders get expensive, especially when it goes real fast.
Yep.
And that's kind of the catch. Is like I also do Marvel Legends, and I'll be doing some DC stuff. So we know how Hasbro is and how they bring stuff out like within a month, and then the next month it's out, and then now you're having to come and pay. And so we work all that out. That's just how it goes.
Yep.
But yeah, come check out my store.
Yep. And links will be in the description down below to his channel and everything else like that. So, yay! Now, guys, the reason why this contest is called the MS 100 is because this year we're going to be doing multiple sclerosis, which is not an easy word for me to say, but I'll get there. And the name actually is indicative of a bike race that happens here in Houston. It's actually called the MS 150. They do it every year. Actually, it's pretty much that time of year right now as of filming this, because March is actually MS Awareness Month.
That's correct.
However, unfortunately, due to the fact that Sclerosis has got his contest going on right now, I didn't want to have a ton of overlap with that, so we're ignoring the specific month, and we're just gonna gloss over it for the most part. But as you guys can see, we have this lovely logo here for the MS 100 that was made by Rodimus 13, of course, from last year, and also this cool Shoki charity logo as well, which you've actually shared by it's like you shared without saying anything, but that's okay. It wasn't a whole
Hey, you
lot of
said
content.
promote. I go promote.
It
That.
wasn't promoting time just yet, but it's okay. This is the real promotion. But for those who are not aware, Mr. Nathan here is the reason this contest is happening. As I normally do with these things, someone I know happened to have or has had a particular disease that we're doing these things for. So go ahead and give people some background.
So, as you guys might know, I am prior military. I'm retired military from the Air Force. So, I had to go through the VA process of finding out, hey, what disabilities I have after being in the service. and going through things, I ended up becoming like 75% disabled at one point. But then I noticed over the last 2 years that I was always run down and always tired, like completely out of energy. And then noticed like my back was always having problems, my neck was having problems. Um, and so through some research and working with the VA, we ended up finding out that I have multiple sclerosis. So if you don't know what multiple sclerosis is, it's where there are inhibitors within the spine to your brain, into the rest of your body that actually fight against the antibodies and fight against your actual system. So what happens is that when that fighting happens, that's when your energy drain goes. There are four different stages of MS. One, of course, is just recession. Two is where you will have sporadic outburst of times where it's going to be, you're going to have the tiredness or debilitating factors. Then you have stage three, which what I have is stage three, is where you have multiple attacks, usually within a week, and then throughout the month, and then it doesn't really relax, so you're kind of stuck with that, and you go through it. Stage four, of course, is the people who have actually had it worse off, where they're debilitated to the point of having to be in wheelchairs, and not able to do anything hardly for themselves. Doesn't mean that there's not a cure out there. We do have medications that do help us out to live normal lives. So, just because I have stage three doesn't mean I'm dead, because I'm not. But I do actually take medication to help out with mine. So there will be times where, and you guys might see it even in my videos, or sometimes where if I do seem tired or run down while I'm going through it, it's probably because of my MS at that day. Um, and it doesn't mean that, it changes me who I am, but it just changes how I have to do things. So a lot of people with my condition, they will take, what we call our reserves. It's like, hey, if I've got so much energy within a day, where do I focus that energy at? The way I can do the most I can out of it before I am worn out and run out. Um, so that's kind of how it works. There's been a lot of great research helping out with it. There's so many different types of medication out there, whether it be, through a tablet or through an injection. Like for me, I get mine through injections, because I'm in stage three. Um, so they will help out, which is kind of why we wanted to do this contest, because the National MS Society does all this great work for all of us. And then they actually have a subsection within there which is specifically for veterans like I am. And it's a lot of us that have had problems, and we might have got MS from being in the military because of the wear and tear on our bodies, like things that cause problems. Like for me, I'm actually 2 inches shorter than I used to be, because I actually had two discs removed. I had my spine fused, because of the back injuries I had in the military. But a lot of that conglomerated together until we found out, hey, now that I do have MS, how do I deal with that? Well, like I said, just got to do energy sharing, figure it out together. So I still have a family. I have 4 kids. You think about that. I've got a 7-year old, a 4-year old, a 3-year old, and a 15-month old. So they keep me busy constantly. So I focus my energy on those days, of making sure the kids and the family are all right. So other than that, that's pretty much it. Like I said, thank you, Shoki, for having me. Wanted to really put the message out there to, hey, people that have it, there's help for you out there. Let's go get it.
Yeah, and like we did lupus the first time, and there's a lot of treatments for lupus, and no cure necessarily, but and then of course last year we did testicular cancer, um, and of course Thomas has been through that, and they're actually getting really close to cures for cancer, including turning your own immune system to where it can actually fight cancer properly, like just a normal bug you catch. So hopefully one day we'll have the same kind of thing for MS. And you've probably heard about it forever in TV, movies, medical drama, stuff like that. But actually being able to talk to someone who has it, and knows what it's like is a very different story, because it's usually portrayed as the person in the wheelchair. That like stage 4 is usually what they're showing on screen, or
Yeah.
occasionally a person who's hitting stage 1 and it's like they're finally catching the triggers for it or something like that. But for somebody like yourself, which is the higher middle ground of it, you know. Now, just as a question, does the treatment reduce it? Like, can you go to lower stages, or is 3 like just where you're at?
Some people will actually go in between stages depending
Hmm.
on what happens. A lot of times, stage two people will become stage one, you know.
Okay,
Sometimes stage three people become stage four.
that makes
It
sense.
just depends. There's not a lot of times that I've seen where you go from three downward to two.
Yeah.
Um, that doesn't mean that you don't get the medication to help you make you feel like you're stage one or stage two. It just means
Hmm.
that I've not seen it from my personal
Okay.
opinion.
I was curious if like other staged diseases that they could be reduced, not always increased. But like I guess you're saying that if you're on the lower end of the spectrum, you're more likely to go downward, but on the higher end, you're more likely to go upward,
Upward.
just depending on the situation and stuff like that. Okay, that's just good to know. And if you guys need to know any other information, hopefully we can put some links down there. But if you guys know anybody personally, or anybody in your family that's affected by the disease, leave a comment down below. Let us know, because I was amazed by the sheer amount of people affected by lupus in the first
Oh,
contest. So, speaking of the contest,
mhm.
let's actually roll into it. So, essentially, we're going to have mostly the same rules as last year, but with a few tweaks that I've already brought up before in a different video. Now, the link to the official rules will be in the description down below. It's just a Google Doc, so everybody has access to read it. And so it's just going to start out with the idea is just like the name MS1100. We're going to do all 1/100 kits this year. So whether that's phone's buzzing, whether that's no grade, master grade, RE, FM, whether that's Kotobukiya or any other kits that are within the 1/100 scale, and that's pretty much it. Now, we did make one exception, and that is actually the Flame Toys Transformers kits. And that's mostly because all of us judges are big fans of those kits, and they kind of scale pretty well with the lower end 1/100 kits. So that's also totally a thing you can do. Um, Now, we may be missing the month for MS awareness, but if you would like to incorporate the color ribbon, so to speak, it is orange. So you don't have to. But if you want to incorporate the color orange into the kit, you totally can. No like bonus points for it or anything like that. It's just the idea. Like before, we wanted to include blue or purple, things like that. So if you want to incorporate orange, it's definitely encouraged. Just like customizing is encouraged. Now, as before, submissions can contain multiple kits. So if you're building like a diorama or something like that, it can be included in a single submission. But if you're going to do multiple builds, you got to do it as like separate entries, if that makes sense. And each entry is, well, you have to pay your own fees. As usual, there's a charity contest for trying to raise money. Going to do this the same kind of way as we have before. And you can have up to 2 entries per category. Now, one big change to this contest from last year is it will be open worldwide, but international entries, including Canada and Mexico, will be judged separately, as there won't be any physical prizes to give out. We're going to be doing either Amazon gift cards or something along those lines that you guys can win and purchase your own things kind of online. It's just way easier. So physical prizes are only going to be shipped within the US, and that's either going to be shipped from us, the judges, or from the retailers that are going to help us out. More on that in a little bit. And there will be a link obviously included after this. This video and any subsequent videos will be in a playlist. So if you need to keep up with anything, it'll be there. Now, entry fees, much like before, same exact PayPal address will be done for this. So we're going to skip out on the fees like we did with the ticketing system. So it'll be the Shoki Reviews Charity Contest at Gmail. That's the PayPal address you're going to send your entry fees to. I'll go over that here in a little bit when the actual amounts of money. So you send that, and then whenever you do it, do the friends and family option. So we're losing all the fees we can possibly do there. Now, once again, make sure you include your name in case that your email is different to your actual name. This was a problem we've had before. We actually had people who had very similar names and actually got really confusing. We had an A. Wilson and an Andy Wilson that were not related, and their entries got confused. So make sure you spell out your name and associate it to your email. If you're paying for someone else, like you're the person who's going to be paying, make sure you include their name and email in a note on the payment so that we know who is doing that. That came up before as well. And then, of course, say you're trying to sandbag a little bit. You've actually built something that's more in the advanced like category by definition, and you're trying to throw it in intermediate so that you can get a higher score. We're going to catch that, and we're going to bump you up to your proper class and ask that you pay the difference. Shouldn't be an issue because most people are pretty honest on this. And if you need to know, if you're unsure of what your build's going to be classified as, just write to that same email. So the Shoki Review Charity Contest at Gmail. Ask any questions that you're going to have about your entries, like what category do I need to be in, and things like that. And of course, the categories along with their entry fees are as follows. Out of the box category, which is back again this year, that's only $5. Beginners, also only $5. The intermediates, $10, just like before, and advanced fees are $15. So not that there's no exhibition class this year, and just like last year, there will be a hotshot class, but you don't enter that. We decide you are in it. So that's an intermediate. That's an upgraded intermediate. No extra cost to you, but you can win a different prize. Now, another thing that's going to change this year, and I'm being upfront about it. Shipping costs money. So unlike previous years, I'm going to hold on to 10% of the fees to help cover shipping. And if there's money left over from that, it's going to get donated as well. And it's all going to go to the National MS Society, as you mentioned earlier, because of how they help out veterans like yourself. So is everybody following along so far? Any questions? That's right. You can't actually ask any right now. This is a video. Now, builds, because you guys actually want to know these things. All kits must be official kits of whatever brand they are. So Bandai, Kotobukiya, Flame Toys, all got to be originally an official kit. No KOs. But I'm making a small example of Supernova because they modify those things enough that they're not really considered KOs. So if you have a Supernova kit, go ahead. That's fine. But if you start trying to slip in a Devon or anything like that, sorry. Not going to be allowed.
No Dragon Momo?
Huh?
So no Dragon Momos?
No Dragon Momoko either. Sorry. Sorry, it ain't coming in here because I'm not going to give you a KO. I'm going to give you an official Bandai product, and real companies are going to be donating these prizes or purchasing these prizes from real retailers and stuff like that who only carry those things. So it's respect to them. Okay, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to build a KO. Just sorry, not allowed here. And of course, keep it in the 1 to 100 scale. That's fine. Now, this is something. Oh, sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. All builds must be new in order to compete. But if you have a previously built kit or whatever, and you want to customize it, just show the before and the after, whenever you're submitting, so that we know that you're starting off with a base kit. Now, if you have a previous customized kit and you're changing it up, same deal. Let us know ahead of time that it's not going to be like brand new thing. You're going to be modifying a new thing. So should be pretty easy. Kit bashing, it's allowed and encouraged, but it's only on the intermediate and advanced levels. The other ones, no kit bashing, but that's fine. The base kit chosen for the kit or for the build must be in the 1 to 100 scale, and the final build must contain at least 50% of the base kit. It's only fair. That way you're not just grabbing bits and pieces of things like that. You can do that and add it to that. Now, you can interpret that however you want, but as long as you're using 50% of the original kit that you started with, that's all that matters. And you can use other scale of parts, so like HG, perfect grade, whatever. If you want to make like a totally new type of thing, especially if you're going to do like a diorama or something like that, that's fine. Technically speaking, the final build doesn't have to be within the 1 to 100 scale, just the thing you started with. So the reason I say that is because my Archie build started out as half HG, half MG, and its scale is technically in a 1 to 100 scale, but the kits that made it aren't. So that's one of those things. If you're going to kit bash, you can totally do that. Also, resin conversion kits are definitely allowed, but you will automatically be placed in the advanced category if you use them. So that's fine. You want to buy an original Bandai Master Grade Barbatos or something like that and slap on the other things, or rather the full mechanics line, you can do that too. All right, so the skill levels, as I've already laid out, we got out the box. So out of the box, basic straight builds using only what's in the box, and panel lining is allowed. No extra painting of any kind. This is mostly for children or first timers or really basic skill level builders. Now, in that category, basically, you're trying to go for the cleanest build you can get within those rules. And there have been some incredibly good, just straight up basic level builds that I've seen, and that's fine. Beginner, basically, it's out of the box, but you're allowed to paint little details. You can do like pistons, verniers, stuff like that. But no crazy paint jobs or anything like that. Like, say you got like a sword or something like that that's supposed to be silver, things like that. That's where I kind of let that fall. So, let me just think here out of the box. No pun intended. There's certain kits where the sword blades will just be all plastic color and it won't give you anything to make that sword like silver or chrome. That kind of stuff will be allowed. Basically, if you have to do some kind of painting to a kit to make it look the way it's supposed to look without doing a full paint job, then do it. Kind of like how I've done with some of the HGUC stuff, where you got to paint like inside the vernier, stuff like that, little smaller details, things like that. Nothing crazy, just detail work. So intermediate, obviously, a lot of people tend to go into the intermediate. So that's where you can do paint jobs, details, all the paint, extra decal markings, stuff like that. Minor customization and kit bashing and weapon add-ons is allowed there. So, but you got to be wary. If you start really pushing that, you might get bumped into advanced. And personally, I'd rather be at the top of one competition than the bottom of another. So be wary whenever you're doing that. And so
I do have a
advanced,
question about that.
yeah, sure.
High resolution models, where do they fall?
I don't know if anybody's going to want to waste a high res on this, to be totally honest. Because most people aren't customizing them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like if out of the box, kind of thing. Like some people
That,
like
I mean, it's a good question because I hadn't considered that because they are 1 to 100 scale.
Yeah.
Um, if you're not modifying it and you're just building it as is, then it would just go in the out the box.
Yeah.
So now, is that going to give you a leg up over a regular model kit? Probably, but you're not doing any work and you still have to apply good building skills to it to make sure it's put together well. So, yeah, if you're going to do a high res and not do anything to it, it would be in the out the box. So that was a good point, Nate. I had not
I didn't think
considered
about it because I've got two of them coming, and I was like,
that. That's true. All right, so advanced. Basically, this is the go nuts category. This is full paint jobs, color swaps, customization, scratch building, conversion kits, dioramas, electronics, all the things. And considering you're doing this in the 1/100 scales, I expect greatness. it's like it's like the advanced levels really impressed us in the last couple years. So do it there. Now, as last year was introduced, we still have the hotshot category. This is intermediate plus. This is where your build is not quite on the level of advanced, just by the rules we just set, but you're outclassing the intermediate score. Now, that'll be determined by the judges as a consensus that this person needs to be in a hotshot class. We only had one hotshot last year, so it's pretty easy to determine. Um, so basically, you enter intermediate, you do your damnedest, and if your build, your presentation, all that stuff is so good that we think that you need to be a higher level, but you don't quite qualify for advanced, that'll be another story. And I don't know if there'd be a punishment if you're like way too good at intermediate and you should be in advanced. We'll let you know, like I mentioned before. Be like, hey man, this should probably be in advanced. So we'll let you know via email. Speaking of that, if you're gonna submit, do it to the Shoki Reviews charity contest at gmail.com and make sure you put in the subject contest submission. Now you want to have your name, the details of your build, what kit you built with if it's not obvious, anything you've done to it, um, scale, whatever that kind of stuff. It's use the name that is on the submission that you used on your entry. So, if you have a different if your email address is weird compared to your actual name, make sure you let us know that this was me, and then this is, so we tie the two things together. Because once again, can totally be confusing, especially when you got people with very similar like screen names and stuff like that. We ask that you provide no less than 10 high-res pictures, different angles and stuff like that of your builds. You don't have to have like a professional light booth or anything like that. Lighting is important. For the love of God, we need to see what you built. Like one of the biggest winners we had in the first year was Kevin Hagan. He did that ridiculous Barbatos Sananju kit bash, but he did like a professional photo shoot in a dark photo booth to get those nice shadows. But I had to hit him up and be like, dude, we need to see pictures of what you did. Can you get us some pictures of it in some real light? And guys, never underestimate the power of a sunny day and just being outside. If you need to do that, fine. But like I said, no less than 10. If you don't give us enough, we're going to hold that against you. It won't disqualify you, but you're going to lose some points. If you can't get us more, it's even worse. Um, in at least one of the pictures that you're showing off your build, include a little legible note with your name and the date to prove that it's your work. Because you never know, somebody might just be grabbing stuff out of Facebook groups or off of Reddit. So if we catch you with some dishonesty, like even being that like you built this thing for another contest a year and a half ago and you're just resubmitting it here, that counts as dishonesty. Just keep it clean, follow the rules, we won't have a problem. But that way we know that it's you did the thing. Try to get in close if you're going to show off any details. Taking a picture of your kit from 6 feet away on the table, we kind of need to see the quality of your builds. That's important. So make sure you get in close enough that we can see what's going on. Overall shots are fine, but make sure that if you got any details that we need to see, you show them off and you describe them if it's something that you think we need to catch. So if there's something we need to look for, tell us that and show us the best you can. And the more advanced guys, by all means, do a little breakdown of what it took to build the thing. If it's more elaborate than we can really pick apart, give us a description of the thing. The techniques you use, stuff like that, because that's interesting. And we don't have the ability to talk to you directly. So you got to give us all the information that we need in the email. So yay. And I forgot to change this date until just now. So I forgot to mention that this contest is going to be running till the end of May. You can start submitting your actual entries as early as April 30th. Now, you can enter the contest anytime between now and the due date. So, I mean, as soon as this is up, if you want to go ahead and send, sign up and send the money, your PayPal thing is your entry, and then you go on the list. So as long as you're good there, that's all that matters. So you can submit your things as soon as April 30th, but you got to get them all submitted before May 21st. I don't know why. I think I got this date wrong. I put May 25th. It's like that doesn't. It's like that only gives us 4 days to judge. That's not right.
No, that's not good.
No, that's incorrect. I forgot to change that. I think that was from last year. Where's my calendar? Nope, that's not how you change months. You want to just go on the 31st?
31st, yeah.
That'll give us 10 days to judge, which will be more than enough. Okay. So we will announce the winners and everything on my channel, probably in a live stream on May 31st. So just so everybody knew that, I have to change that in the actual thing. So that gives 10 days to do the thing. And hopefully this year we won't have to go for an extension because YouTube shuts us down and keep people from seeing stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was crap. That's why we had such a small turnout last year. All right, now, much like last year before, if you want to compete, or I'm sorry, if you don't want to compete, but you kind of want to jump in on it, just help support the cause, and maybe even be featured on my channel, maybe even on Nate's and on the Facebook. Submit pictures of whatever 1 to 100 scale builds you've got, whether it's custom for this contest or just otherwise, because we're just here to show stuff off. Send it to the same email address, but in the subject, put feature me. Now, you won't be entering the contest. You're just kind of showing your support and showing off your cool stuff. Now, if you are an actual entrant and you want to show off some other stuff just for fun, because, I mean, there's lots of builders out there and you probably all have, we'll take it. Why not? Put feature me in the thing and, slip in a few pictures. And yes, sorry, I forgot to mention this. If you need to link to a Google Drive or other places that your pictures are, if you can't attach them all to the email, make sure that those things are downloadable. So make sure that anybody who has the link to those things can download the photos, because that's how I'm going to share them with the world later. And there was a few drives that people sent me that everything was locked and I could not save any of the photos. So just be clear on that, so that if I have to hit you up to get more pictures, just bear with me. I'm basically one guy. I have to compile a lot of crap. Now, this is the part that is hard to talk about, and it's the prizes. And the reason I say it's hard to talk about is because as it stands, we only have 3 prizes set up. Normally, last couple of years, Gundam Planet has been a massive help in donating prizes, and I reached out to them again this year, and while they were absolutely delighted to help, unfortunately, they're in the middle of a major project on their own, and basically their money is really tied up. However, they were able to donate a few small things, not even small things, a few things. So The out the box winner, there is only one winner in the out the box category, will get a $20 gift card to Gundam Planet. That's at least worth an HG. You know, maybe some other small stuff, or just, hey, that's $20 just for entering a silly contest. And they'll send that to you. They're not going to actually do anything, or they'll give you the code, whatever. Also, in the beginner category, the third place winner there will get another gift card to Gundam Planet. So I appreciate that they did that. Now, sadly, the second place winner is to be determined. But the first place winner of the beginner category will get an MG Zaku Warrior Hawk Custom. So that's the prizes that Gundam Planet was actually able to donate, and I really do appreciate that. I did forget to mention that all of the prizes, with the exception of the gift cards, are going to be 1 to 100 scale kits. So keep it all in the same scale for this, even the prizes. Now, I do have a list of things that I was specifically after. Now, once I actually have all of the prizes listed out, I will make a video about it. Right now, I'm reaching out to different places, USA Gundam Store. You've got a couple feelers out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just as things develop, we're going to try to get as many prizes donated as possible. If you are actually capable of helping us out, we'll take it by all means. Money's a lot tighter on my end this year, but I'm still going to be getting the grand prize. So at least I have that one determined 100%. I can't scroll down because my mouse is in the wrong spot. So the best in show, you guys usually know that I like to go big on these, or at least as big as I can. So best in show this year is going to get the master grade full armor double Zeta Verka. And I know a few people are really excited about that. Personally, I'm not. I'm not excited. I still have my regular double Zeta down there. But I know my buddy Eric, who was a judge last year, who is competing this year, does want that kit. So he might be trying hard to get that. But so that's the one thing that I can absolutely promise we're going to get one way or the other. Now, between myself, Nate, and hopefully a couple other guys, we can score a few other prizes without having to go deep into pockets. Still waiting, like I said, to get back. If you have a connection to other kind of retailers that could help us out, please send me an email at the Shokio1 at Gmail or through my Facebook page. Get in touch somehow if you can help this out. Or if you are a retailer, by all means, help us out. And mind you, we're not keeping these things. If you want to ship it directly to the winner and save me a little bit of cash, I will take that as well. And as for the online people, or not the online people, international people, whatever it takes to send Amazon gift cards electronically, I'm fairly certain that's a pretty simple thing to do. That's how that's going to work. Either Amazon or Nippon Yasan, whoever, somewhere we can get things. If we could get hooked up with HLJ for that, that would be great if we could, even though not everybody's going to be on that side of the world. So, because Canada and Mexico are still going to fall under international, because I discovered how expensive it was to ship to Mexico last year. So, now, for those who are interested, judging wise, so myself, Mr. Nate, my buddy Sean Love over at Sean Diesel Body Shop, which I've referred to quite often. For his building and painting skills alone, he's going to be a great judge. And a new guest judge as well. Some of you may have heard of him, Justinus Builds. So, I've been friends on Facebook for a while now. He's a great builder, YouTuber, all these other things, and he is really happy to be on board. Like, it's like, I mean, I barely know the guy, but like I constantly talk on his or comment on his shitpost memes that he does every day. And then we were having a back and forth Twitter discussion the other day too. So he's on board. That's awesome. I'm glad to have another Gunplay YouTuber to come play. Now, for those interested, the judging will be on a 1 to 10 point system, 10-point based system, whatever you want to call that. And we got 5 categories. Now, the first one is build quality, how well is it constructed, painted, etc. It matters a lot more on out of the box and beginner, where the cleaner you build it, the better you're going to be. Like getting rid of your nubs, making sure your little paint details and stuff are really clean. That matters throughout, but on the basic builds where you're not getting to customize and stuff like that, your points are really going to come from your build quality. Secondly, details. That's not relevant for out the box, like I just said, because you can't do it. But if you're doing good detail work, picking stuff out here and there, and it looks good, if it makes sense, like you didn't just paint all of your things neon yellow, but really make something stand out, that's going to be good. Along with, say, uh, sometimes this is where sticker placement can go in between either details or build quality. If you have very good sticker placement or they blend in really nice, things like that matter. Thirdly, pose. This is something that matters because a lot of people just stand their kit like that and hold their beam saber out. Put them in a good pose, whether it's an action pose or, hands on the hips, something like that. You can do a variety of poses as we've gotten in the past, which was actually really friggin' funny. That every single picture the guy sent was in a different pose. These things are meant to move. Get creative. Um, so do what you got to do. Now, if your kit is kind of built to be in one pose, like in the advanced section, fine. But obviously, at that point, you're not going to be boring in the first place. And kind of going along with sending in multiple things like that, presentation matters. Because we're relying on your pictures and or videos. I forgot videos are allowed as well, as long as you're really showing things off. The amount of pictures matters. You don't have to go crazy, but if you're sending in 9, that's going to matter, And if you don't take very good pictures, like if you're in a really dimly lit room trying to get a picture of the thing in the box standing up sideways, try a little bit harder. I'm just going to say that. I mean, don't have to go crazy. Once again, you don't have to have professional photo booth or anything like that. Not like mine's actually professional, but you don't need something like that to take good pictures. We need to see what you did. And, if you got to get creative, like doing a different pose, which it's in between, but that guy also not only was his Barbatos in different poses, he was doing different things, and that counted in the presentation, whether it was looking out the window all pensively, playing Gundam Breaker on the PlayStation, stuff like that. Or if you're like Thomas Rice and you do like detailed posters, stuff like that with breakdown information, things like that. That's what pushed him into the first hotshot category, technically speaking. So present it to us well, because we can't be in there to see it in person. And some of us have old eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I was referring to you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And so just make sure that we can see the thing, present it well, get creative. Also, don't do like a ton of, because we need to see what you built. If you want to do something with like cool flames and effects and stuff added to it, do that minimally, like as add on to it. But like we need to see what you built. But like if you want to throw in some flair like that, that's not bad. Just don't make it every picture, because we're judging the build, not just how cool your pictures look, but how cool they look is part of it. So
Can't do that with Burning Gundam though.
you could.
Don't
Well,
want to try.
Burning Gundam comes with, well, depending on which one you talk about, comes with flame effects.
Uh,
Um, and then last, and certainly not least, creativity. Now, this isn't going to matter on the low end of the spectrum, but when you get into intermediate and advanced, where you're really kind of throwing stuff together, no pun intended, uh, get really creative. Now, it's only worth 5 points max, but it could be the difference. It was kind of a tiebreaker before. Um, for some other guys, where just like if your creativity is way up in the 5s, or if you built something pretty kind of low end, it just go crazy. But also, if you just get weird with it, so like Antonio last year with his ridiculous diorama of the white blood cells fighting the cancer cells, that was the most creative thing we've ever seen. Like it's just like the build quality was crazy, the presentation was crazy, the creativity was just beyond. I think I actually gave him 6 points on that just because he deserved it. He was already winning at that
Yeah.
point. It didn't matter if I gave him one extra. But be creative in your build, or at least as much as your level allows you to. Now, will we get a lot of out the boxes? Who knows? That's also why there's only one prize there. Um, but basically, that's it. You just need those things. And of course, if you need these breakdowns, remember the link to the rules is in the description down below. Now, winners, since we're talking about prizes, there'll be a first, second, and third places per class, with the exception of out of the box and hot shot, which each only have one winner. So if there are no hot shots, well, then we'll find something to do with that prize. Odds are we'll get at least one. So far, it's worked that way. And of course, these are all points based, as I previously discussed. I set up a really awesome spreadsheet that I have to now teach all these guys to use after the fact, which is actually as simple as just putting in your ranked numbers. And then the spreadsheet does all the work for us. It's amazing. Upon the winner announcement, so as soon as we do the video for the announcement, I'll email all the winners back so we can get your contact info, shipping info, stuff like that. Because in some cases, we will, like myself or Nate, will have to actually physically ship something. But then also, if retailers are going to help us out, they need your address as well. And also, any of the winners can totally come on a Showkey Builder Showcase. Tony has been wanting to do one. First, we just haven't made it happen yet. So hopefully this year he'll be able to do it. It's like that was actually
It's
mostly
been like
on
3 years in a row he hasn't done it yet.
Huh?
It's been like
No,
3 years.
no. The guy who won last year.
Oh, okay.
No, not the big winner from last year. He wanted to do a builder showcase. We just haven't made it happen. That's mostly on me. Last year was not good for builder showcase things. So it is what it is. Sorry, guys. I wanted to go ahead. I had to do a little interjection right here at the end before we sign off. I did forget to mention international prizes. So when I said there would be first, second, third place, that meant just in U.S. standards. So with internationals, if you're in, just depending, we will purchase one prize for each section in increasing monetary intervals, starting, I guess, with $20 worth at the bottom end, and then working up to a best in show level. So internationally, there will be a best in show, and same thing with here in the US side with the actual physical prices. So I did forget that because it was something new to this year, and of course it should be in the rules updated now. So just wanted to make sure I got that in there at the last second. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it for the MS1100 announcement. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments down below or send them to the email. So basically, it's good luck. I will be putting out a video later once the prizes are all secured and I know exactly what they are. But yeah, good luck. It's all for a good cause. Hopefully we can raise a lot more money. Oh, and there will be merch. I forgot about that. There will be shirts and stuff like that on the store. Almost forgot.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to get the cool MS1100 logo or MS100 logo on a shirt or whatever, let me know. Or if there's something that I can throw it on that you want, like stickers or stuff like that, let me know in the comments. What kind of merch will you buy? Because that matters. Because last year, almost no merch sold. So we want to get those numbers up this year. Huh?
I like patches.
I don't know if Teespring does patches, but we can find out. But anyway, guys, good luck from me and Nate. Oh, it's contest season. And I think I think that I'm just going to set my contest yearly in May. I think it's just what I'm going to do. So we'll see you guys later. Remember, as always, to keep on building, and let's build this awesome charity thing together.
Get them built.
Get them built.